Hi, I'm Annelisa, and I guess some of you guys might be a little bit bored, what with staying inside all the time, so I wanted to teach you a kind of basic drawing class. I'm out here, as you can see, in my backyard, and I'm going to be teaching you how to draw animals. So this is a kind of example drawing of something that we might make. Just a little colorful animal, shouldn't take too long, maybe just 10 minutes or so. So let's get started. Um, First of all, you need a piece of paper. Anything will do. Doesn't have to be white, doesn't have to be a piece of printer paper, whatever you have. And I'll show you my materials here. So I have a pencil, an eraser, and a black pen. And if you want to add some color, you need something like markers, crayons, colored pencils, watercolor paint, pretty much anything you have around that you want to use. So I'm going to get started. So first of all, when you're drawing anything, you want to look at it and try to think about it as a collection of shapes that you're breaking down from big pieces into smaller and smaller pieces. And if you think about things that way, it makes things that seem really, really hard a lot easier. So if you're drawing a cat, the basic parts that you might want to start with are just the head of the cat and the body of the cat. Those are the two major parts of the cat, just two circles, just like that. You see that? All right, so now let's keep going. Now you want to think about maybe the secondary parts of the cat, which would be maybe the neck, the two front legs, and the two back legs. And of course, the cat's tail. So here, I hope you can see that. That's the cat's four legs and tail and head. And now you want to look at that and try to think about building up some of those details, some of those outlines. So I'm going to start outlining the cat. First, I'm going to start with the cat's head because that's a pretty important part. Two things that we definitely need to add are the ears. So you can just use two triangles for that. And then kind of like a little triangular for the nose and those two little circles that are around a cat's nose. And there's one little circle kind of under the cat's chin, so we can do that too. And then the cat's eyes, which are kind of like a big football shape. So here you go. See that? That's the cat's head. Now I'm going to keep going. I'm going to go a little bit down, and I'm going to round that out and complete the shape of the cat's head. Nice and round. And now I'm going to start outlining the cat's body. So we're going to take the cat's neck and go down the cat's back all the way to the tail. And there you can see we're starting to outline the cat's body. So it's like you're taking these big pieces and starting to build them up into a little bit more detailed stuff. And even if you don't want to do a cat, you can do this with all kinds of other animals. Any kind of animal that could ever exist in the world. So there you go. So now I'm starting to outline the bottom of the cat. Went down to the cat's feet, and you can see that little part where it's going up over the cat's body, kind of like a little overlap. That'll help things feel a little bit more three-dimensional. And now I'm going to keep doing that with the rest of the cat's paws. Here you can see the cat's second paw is kind of behind the other one. And the way you can show that is when you have little points of overlap like that. I'm going to do the same thing with the cat's back legs and the behind paw on the back of the cat. So here you can see how it's looking now. And now it's time to do this cat's tail, one of the most important parts of the cat. There you go. Take a look at that. So now we have a pretty good outline of the entire cat. But it doesn't have to be perfect. And the reason why is because we're doing this in pencil first. So a really awesome trick that you want to know if you're an artist is even if you see something that's done in pen and it looks like it's super complicated and difficult to figure out, probably the artist did it first in pencil just like this. They built it up from little pieces and then they did it step by step. And then what they're going to do is draw on top of that with pen, and when you use pen, you can't erase it, right? So once you draw these lines with pen, you can erase all the pencil, and it's like it was never there. So this is a really important step if you really want to try to get something out of your head and put it in real life in the same way that it was in your mind. So I'm going to start outlining. And if there's anything I don't like, I still have the chance to change it or make it a little bigger or a little bit smaller, since sometimes you notice new stuff the second time around. So for example, I'm going to change the shape of the eyes a little bit because I think one of them was a little bit too high up. So you can see here, the outline is not quite the same, but it's kind of following the same structure. And another thing I kind of want to change is I feel like this cat's ears are a little bit too far apart, and I want them to be sticking a little bit more upwards. So I'm going to change that too. See? So that's an awesome thing about outlining. You can really start to see your mistakes from the first time and fix them. So now I'm going to outline that cat's head. And there we go. There's the cat's head. And now I'm going to go down to its body. I also feel like the cat's neck was a little bit thin the first time, so I'm going to make it a little bit thicker. And here you can see I'm starting to outline that. Now I'm going to keep going around. I'm going to go up around the cat's tail. I'm going to go down its body. And then I'm going to go down to its back leg. So I'm just kind of doing the outline of this entire cat. There you go. And as you can see, I'm kind of correcting it a little bit in certain places as I go, because the pencil is going to be erased. I'm gonna give this cat a nice round belly. It's pretty full of food. And do its back paw. And its back paw here. There you go. So this is already looking pretty good. The only problem is that, of course, you can't erase this now, but I think I'm pretty happy with this cat, and I'm ready to move on to the next step. Sorry for some of that noise in the background. I'm making sure to stay at home, and I'm in the backyard, so there's a lot of nature around me. Now, I'm going to take this eraser, and I'm going to do one of my favorite steps, which is erasing all of that pencil and just getting down to the pen line. So sorry for the table shaking a little bit. That's just me using the eraser. And if you don't have a pencil and eraser, you can always just do this with pen. It's just a little bit more difficult sometimes to get it exactly how you want the first time, so you might have to go a little bit more slowly. You might have to skip over these little steps in the middle, the ones where you're making the circles and connecting them. But even if you don't do them, if you envision them in your mind, it'll make it easier for you to draw these animals. So remember, every time you look at something, just try to think, what are the main shapes making it up, and how can I break it down into those shapes? All right, almost done. Just gotta do the cat's tail. This pencil is erasing really nicely. Okay. So here you can see that a lot of that pencil is gone now, and you're really just able to see the outline of the cat, so that's awesome. And now we're going to go forward to another really great part, which is adding some of those little details. Like, I'm gonna put some whiskers in here. That's a really important part of a cat. Maybe little triangles inside the ears. So there we go, just give our cat a little bit more personality. If you want, you can put like some little stripes on your cat. Like that. I don't know, you can put stars, you can put hearts, you can put all kinds of weird geometric patterns. You can do anything you want. So now I'm gonna start coloring in the cat. I have all these different markers here, and you can make your cat any color you want. You don't have to do something that's based on real life. So I'm gonna make my cat's head orange. I'm gonna take a nice marker, and I'm gonna start coloring it in. So this part is kind of straightforward. Just gotta keep going, keep adding the color, and pretty soon you're gonna be finished. So I hope you can see my cat's head a little bit there, filling it in. There we go. And you can see here, this is an orange-headed cat. Kind of like me. So I'm gonna keep going down a little bit, and I'm just going to color its neck orange all the way up to its front legs. And just because I feel like it, now I'm gonna choose a new color. So, got all these colors here. I think I'm gonna go with green. So the next part of the cat is gonna be green. All right, take a look at that. So there's a green front of a cat. And now I'm gonna make the back of the cat, and I'm gonna make it be blue this time. All right, coloring it in, coloring it in. There we go. There's just one part remaining, and that's the tail. So I'm gonna make that one more color. I'm gonna make it red. So just color in the tail. This part's a little tricky since the tail is so small, but I'm sure you can manage it. And almost done here. Cool. So there you go, there's a cat. And just for fun, to show you how to draw something else, I'm also gonna put a bird sitting on the top of this cat, just to show you that you can do this technique with a ton of other animals. So I'm gonna do two parts of this bird, just like the cat, the head and the body, the two major parts of the animal. And now, I'm gonna kind of connect them, do the beak of the bird and its head, like you can see here. And now I'm gonna start going into detail on the bird's body. So gonna go around like this, do the body of the bird just like that. Now I'm gonna do some legs attaching the bird to the ground. And now I think I'm ready to do the black pen just like last time. So I'm gonna outline it and put a little eye on it, put a few lines for its feet, and there you go, take a look at that. Now I might add a little line for its wing, since birds usually have wings. There we go. Look at that, that's all you really need to have a basic drawing of a bird. And now I'm going to go ahead and erase that pencil just like we did last time. Cool. So here we have a nice clean bird, and now I'm gonna color that bird in. I'm gonna use this kind of yellow color that we haven't used yet. There you go, take a look at that. So I did that pretty quickly, just in a few minutes, but if you spend quite a while on this, you can make your cat super detailed. You can add all kinds of stuff. You could add another bird on top. You could put 10 birds on top of each other. You could do a dog. You could do an elephant. You could do an octopus. You can do all kinds of stuff. You just want to maybe look at either an image of that animal or how you imagine it in your mind and try to break it down into those little pieces and then draw them with pencil. Try to outline them in pen and then erase those outlines in pencil underneath so that you can really have a good form. And another thing we were thinking is if you would be okay with taking a picture or making a scan of your drawings, we were going to maybe try to find somewhere to send them. So as you guys are probably aware, there are a lot of older people and more vulnerable people in our community right now who are really scared and really alone because they have to stay alone in their houses and they can't go outside and talk to people because they might get sick. So maybe if you're interested, we could send the pictures of these things to some local nursing homes And if you're interested in doing that, you could also consider maybe writing some messages on here. Just remember that you want these messages to be really positive and encouraging, like thinking of you, or hope you're doing well, or we're here with you, or kind of just whatever you might imagine saying to your grandma or your grandpa in a situation like this. And if there's anything else, I'd be super happy to do more of these tutorials. We could draw other animals, we could draw people, trees, anything else you want. So let me know what you thought of it, and please let me know if you'd like to send any of these drawings over, and we're gonna do that. So why don't you give this a try and send over your drawings, and we would love to share them with people who might really appreciate them. Thank you, and stay safe.